What's up, everyone? This is Raine Cruz, and it's time for the rain check with UNF Rising Star double barrel Daryl Westphal. Daryl, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rain. It's great to see you. Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, good morning, Daryl. Thank you so much for joining me here on the rain check. It is so great to have you on the show because the clock is ticking for your first bout of 2025 at UNF 27th on
Right.
August 30th in Woodland Hills, California, against Stephan Kilim. How excited are you to finally go back inside the cage?
I'm super excited. Coming off of a loss, it's been bothering me a little bit, so I've just been really ready to get back in there. I tried to get on the July card, but had some issues with matchmaking and stuff, so we figured August would be a little bit better. It's not too far from home either, so everything worked out great.
Well, you mentioned your last bout, which was back in November of 2024. That was roughly around 11 months ago, Daryl.
Yeah.
So I'm curious though, what are the pros and cons of having that kind of time off in between fights?
Um, Definitely more pros than cons, honestly. Getting punched in the face less often is better than not, or than better than being punched in the face more often. But I don't know. I guess I was a little burned out. I was training a bunch. I had my first fight, and then a jiu-jitsu competition, and then another fight right after. In a span of a few months, and it was just constant training, and working two jobs as well, and just no free time. So it was kind of nice to just like breathe a little bit for a little while and kind of recover as well. I had some nagging injuries that feel a lot better now.
Oh wow. Wait, so
Yeah.
you also do jiu-jitsu competitions outside of like your MMA stuff?
Yeah, I haven't in a little while because I've been focused on the MMA, but yeah, I had a couple Jiu-Jitsu World Leagues. My gym Legacy has a in-house tournament. I think twice a year, if not once a year, that I try to hop into those ones to, represent Legacy Pasadena where I train mostly. But yeah, I love competing. I love doing jujitsu. That's my first love. I started all my combat sports. The first thing I did was jujitsu in the gi,
Mhm.
all my gis.
Oh
um,
wow.
yeah. But ever since I started training for MMA, I switched a little bit more towards no gi route, and added the striking after that first fight. And yeah, here I am, just
And
fighting
striking
and
wise, you do Muay Thai,
yeah,
right?
Bang Muay Thai.
Okay.
It's uh, leaning more towards like the Dutch kickboxing style, but we still have our knees and elbows and stuff too.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, speaking of your last bout, you faced Seth Knife Face Coleman at UNF 21. I remember that bout, Daryl, because it was a lot of action and there's a lot of blood.
Oh yeah,
And I remember all of us at the arena, we were just like in awe watching both of you because, you guys tested each other. And
yeah,
and
big
and I
time.
thought yeah, I thought it was such a great fight between the 2 of you. Honestly, Seth had mentioned on the, Fight Family podcast that you were tough. So I wanna ask you, Daryl, what do you remember the most from that fight?
Um, Honestly, the thing that I guess I took away from the fight was, damn, I can eat a shot because in training we try to protect our brain cells as much as possible. I don't have a lot to spare, so I try to preserve them where I can. Uh, that was definitely a big test for both of us. I think that I had a lot of success in the first round, and he adjusted well. He came back and got the next two back. And it was a learning experience for me as well. Just because you're ahead in the beginning doesn't mean that they can't turn it around. And I think that that's what our amateur careers are for. It's I don't want to have learning experiences in my pro career. I want to learn them. I want to learn now while it's not super important. I got to learn how to deal with a pressure fighter who can keep it coming all three rounds with the same intensity as well. It was a big learning experience. I'm really glad that I lost that fight. As weird as that sounds, but if I could, I would like to win all my fights, but feel like I lost just that way I could, take a lesson out of it versus
Mm.
my first fight. I was a little overconfident leaving that one. Like, I just beat this dude who trained way longer than me. So, you know,
Dude, that's like next level thinking right there,
uh,
right? That
you
you're
know,
taking lessons from, like, a loss, and you're kind of like, "You know what? This is actually a good way because I'm learning something from it."
yeah, exactly. That's what, I don't want to mess up in my, when you go pro, it's a whole other thing. Your record resets. I'm 1-1 right now, but I can't wait for that 0-0 because I don't know. I've always been a gamer my whole life, and so I always think
Mhm.
about my KD ratio and like Call of Duty and stuff. And now I'm like, I can't be even. I got to be positive. So yeah,
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well,
yeah,
okay, so I wanna know though, like when a fighter sees blood, either his own blood or his opponent's blood, what goes through your mind?
you know, that's so funny. I think that was a. I got a little bit of an adrenaline rush when I saw the blood. I was like, "Am I? Did I just hurt this guy?" And I was like, "Okay, I got to rush on this now." And I think that I kind of wasted a little bit of energy and hyped myself up in that moment where, it was lack of experience. It was my second fight. So, next time I think if that happens again, hopefully, I won't, blow my load trying to, explode on this dude. So yeah, it was pretty exciting though. I think I have a little bit of a different philosophy when it comes to fighting than other fighters. Like at the end of the day, I'm very hyper aware that it's a sport and it's for entertainment. And so in that moment, I was kind of like, oh, hey, I'm doing my job right. People are
Mhm.
excited to see that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was really exciting, I guess. It was a
Okay.
satisfying feeling to like know that, okay, people came to watch, on a Saturday night, their friends or whatever. Maybe their friend isn't fighting yet. So they're watching my fight, waiting for that or whatever. I want to make sure that they leave talking about my fight. So,
Hey man, great job because we still talk about it up to today. Like it's such a great fight between the two of you. So, like I feel like if people talk to you or talk to Seth, that fight is one of the fights that people would always ask you guys about.
yeah, probably. People still talk about it, even when, like training partners at the gym. Legacy has a bunch of different locations, so when I go to one location, maybe somebody I haven't seen in a while, like, dude, your fight that was awesome. Like, I can't believe you do that stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know, I'm kind of cool.
That's amazing. Well, Daryl, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to announce your debut bout out here in San Bernardino, California at UNF 18. You had a nickname at that time, which honestly, for the most part, when I meet guys and girls who are about to make their debut fights, they usually don't have a nickname, but you
Yeah.
did. Double Barrel. Tell me about your nickname.
Uh, you know, I think I'm really lucky that I was given that nickname because everyone knows you can't give yourself a nickname. But
Mhm.
I guess yeah, I wish it was a cooler story. I just had a coworker who would partake in drinking alcohol on the clock a lot, and so one time he was just trashed at work one time, and he was giving everybody rhyming nicknames, and we would call him Devin 11 because he would always be going to 7-Eleven on his lunch break to like pick up a tall can or something like that. But yeah, one day he was just super drunk at work and he was like, it would be a cool nickname if you were, to go and fight Double Barrel Daryl. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And it kind of just stuck. My coworkers heard it. Some of my other friends have heard it and they loved it. So yeah. I wish it was something cool, like, I had a cool one too and knocked somebody out. But I'll take it. A nickname's a nickname.
Hey, shout out to Devin 11, right? That's his
Yep, Devin
nickname.
11. Shout out
Devin
Devin.
11. Thank you for the nickname for Double Barrel Daryl. We love it.
Yeah, I
Dude,
love it. Yeah. Love him big
it's a
time.
cool story though. I think it's a cool
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to you, Devin 11. Thank you for that nickname. Now, from music to MMA, do you actually have a nickname as well when you used to play guitar for heavy metal bands?
No, not really. I wasn't cool enough yet.
Mhm.
No, but my one of my biggest inspirations growing up was the band Avenged Sevenfold, and all of those guys go by personas. And so my band, it was something that we thought about, like, oh, maybe we should do something like come up with names or wear masks like Slipknot or something. But at the end, we were just like, yeah, let's just stick to making music and not worry about a gimmick. But
Uh,
that would be cool to have a stage name. I'd
yeah.
have to have someone come up with it for me though. Couldn't come up with it myself.
So now, now that you've experienced both, right? You performed on stage as a musician, and then now you perform inside the cage as a fighter. How did you actually transition from music to MMA?
um, Well, I guess I've always wanted to be a fighter. I've always been just
Mm.
fascinated with UFC since I was a kid, or at least like, like middle school-ish. I had some cousins, I guess they're still my cousins, but their farm was like next door, next farm neighbors with Matt Hughes, and so they showed me the UFC when I was really young, and they were like, "Hey, our neighbor's like, the champion, like he's like a big deal." So I got to meet him. He gave me a signed copy of his autobiography and shirts and stuff, and so I thought Matt Hughes and like the UFC was just the coolest thing in the entire universe for my whole life.
Mhm.
And But I'd also played guitar and was in bands and stuff, and I'd stuck to it for a long time, even after high school, college, into my like young adult life. Mostly just because I had spent so much time dedicated to it that I didn't want to quit. It was like one of those things where it's like, oh, I've already put all my time into it. It's too late now to do anything else. And I kind of had like a quarter life crisis around like 26, 27, where I was like, dude, I have to fight now before I'm too old to do it. And so I joined jujitsu, and yeah, the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, have you thought of doing collabs with, fighters who are also musicians, like your opponent at
Um,
UNF 21, Seth Coleman?
yeah, actually, we had talked about it at weigh-ins. I think he had this guy Project Pat, who I
Mhm.
don't really listen to a lot of rap or hip hop, but a bunch of my friends were like, "Yo, dude, this guy that you're about to fight like is working with like my favorite rapper," and I listen to, I guess, a lot of bands like Polyphia or whatever, which are like metal, but they like will feature rappers and stuff on their songs. So I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. And we talked about doing a collab one day. Um, Ever since I started training, all of my music gear is just like in a box, like tucked away. So I got to pull it all out and like actually start making music again one of these days. But I think it would be really cool to do a song with Seth. Um, he's a great guy. I have nothing but good stuff to say about him. And yeah, it would be really cool to do some more stuff with him. I've trained with him one time. My work schedule got changed around like the day after that I went to go train with them for the first time. So I haven't been able to go back, but I see us working together in the future, like music, MMA, like a lot.
Ooh, I love it. I can't wait for that collab, Daryl.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Now, you are one of Up Next Fighting's rising stars. Where do you see this journey taking you?
Well, I can confidently say that my entire MMA career will probably be with UNF. I love
Mhm.
them. They're everything from the language that they use to like just the way that they treat us is just nothing but respectful. I love that they call the amateur division Rising Stars because like I feel like you get a little bit of the credit taken away when you get called an amateur. Like I work just as hard as a pro does. I
Mhm.
train 2, 3 times a day sometimes. I make a lot of personal life sacrifices to be able to do this stuff. And to get called amateur is like I don't want to say it's insulting, but like yeah, being called a rising star, like I like that, that it implies that we are going somewhere with this because we put in this amount of work, and like I just love that they chose to give it its own name because of how much they respect us. So yeah, I love UNF. I think the only thing that if I were to ever do some sort of combat sport outside of the UNF cage would just be if I got the chance to fight in Japan or to
Mm.
do medieval fighting. I don't know if you ever seen the medieval knight fighting, but that's a long term goal for me too. I want to put a suit of armor on and fight somebody with a sword and shield.
Wait, are you talking about medieval times? Like,
No, like
you know,
they have this one. I think it's called M1 Night Fighting.
okay,
It's
this is
like
an actual
it's
sport, not like
yeah, this is
the
an actual sport. Yeah, it's
okay.
MMA, but in like knight armor, and then you and your opponent will choose whether you want to do like halberds, sword and shield, like two sword. You know what I mean? And some of these dudes will just drop their sword and shield and just throw hands. But it's so awesome. You got to check it out. It's
Oh,
so cool.
wow. I'd love to see that because I've
Yeah.
only been to the medieval times
Oh
where you
yeah.
like yeah, you
Yeah.
have
The
dinner and
jousting
you
and
watch.
stuff is fun to watch, but something about seeing those my two interests. I love video games and I love MMA, and seeing the dude from Dark Souls fight the other dude from Dark Souls in the cage in real life. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool, Daryl.
Yeah.
Well, so when is this rising star double barrel Daryl go pro?
I think I want to do an even like 5, maybe 6 amateurs before I go pro. I just want to get some experience. Still kind of working out the jitters and stuff with the lights and the cameras and like the big crowd. I was really
Mm.
surprised. one thing I really love about UNF is I've been to a lot of amateur shows, and when I go to amateur shows, I feel like I'm at an amateur show. But when I go to UNF, it's the production quality is just next level compared to basically every other promotion that I've been to. And I remember in my debut fight, I was the second fight of the night, and I remember walking onto the stage and looking at the crowd and seeing it basically full, and I was like, "What? I'm about to fight in front of like over 1,000 people right now." And like, yeah, so that's a lot to get used to for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
How did that
it's
feel
great.
though for you as like for someone who made his debut that night? How did that feel?
It was really cool.
Mhm.
I think it probably wouldn't have been as cool as if I had lost in front of all those people, but I won, so that was a nice feeling. I had a willing dance partner in Adrian to throw down. We both kind of agreed before the fight, like, hey, let's maybe not grapple and just like swing our hands. So that's kind of what happened, even though he took me down in the first round. But but yeah, it was really cool. Afterwards, I was really surprised at the amount of followers that I got on Instagram that I guess they liked what I did. So that was kind of nice. It was validating to make sure that all that work and getting punched in the face and stuff was worth it.
Well, Daryl, if a sponsor wants to join you on your journey, um, what sponsor would that be? It could be like maybe an apparel or um, those meal prep stuff, or maybe a supplement, or
Hmm.
anything outside of that.
My favorite gear brand that I buy all the time is Super Rare. I have, their rash guards, skis, gloves, all that stuff. Either that or maybe Raising Canes. I love Raising Canes so much. Like, yeah, maybe it's not the super healthy, but I can still get all my protein out of there. So
The Texas toast is good though.
oh
Like,
my
I mean,
God, I love the Texas toast. My favorite thing in the world is after like a really long day to go to Cane's to get the Caniacs. Sometimes I will sub the Texas toast for extra fries because they're really good, but I do love the Texas toast. It depends. If I'm gonna drive home with it, then maybe not because it'll be kind of soggy by the time I get home. But if I'm eating it there, I'm getting the toast for sure.
so is that your post-fight meal then?
Absolutely, yeah. I was just talking to Brian Navarro. He's one of my training partners, another UNF fighter. We go to Cane's all the time. It's like a weekly thing for us, except I'm cutting down to 135 right now, so
Mhm.
it's been a little while since I've had any.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
UNF 27 is coming up. So what, in like 2 weeks? So after that,
Yep.
there's gonna be some Raising Canes coming up your way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's one not far from the Marriott, so I'm gonna step out of the cage, do my medicals, run to Raising Cane's real quick, grab something to eat. I'm coming back to watch the rest of the fights.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Well, Daryl, before I let you go, do you have any message to your supporters and to your teammates at Legacy?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for you guys. Thank you all for the support. I love you guys, and to my teammates, especially Matt, Yas, Brian. You guys are my best friends. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the help and helping me get better.
Oh, that's amazing. I see you guys at our UNF events, and it always I find it really sweet.
Oh,
When
yeah, thank you.
you guys are like all together supporting each other, because like you
Mhm.
said earlier, you guys get punched in the face. I mean,
Yeah,
that's no joke. That's
yeah, we punch
painful.
each other in the face.
You guys punch each other
Yeah.
in the face. That is painful, and the amount of training, weight cut, and all the sacrifices that you guys do. I mean, man, when you find someone who understands that kind of hustle and sacrifice, you guys support each other. And then I see that in you guys, the guys from Legacy, you guys are all together as brothers. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that too. Sometimes in my mind, it is kind of hard to differentiate them from friend and brother because I spend so much time with them and I care about them so much. We all have basically the same goal and we're responsible for each other's improvement. If I'm sucking that day, then they're not going to get good rounds and vice versa. And, it's just, all of our dreams are in each other's hands.
Mhm.
Like watching Yas last week, I'm more nervous when I watch my friends fight than I'm before my own fights. Like Yas is like, he's like a little brother to me. So watching him, lose by KO was pretty hard, but it's one of those things. It's part of the sport.
Part of the sport. But hey, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you guys are there for each other, win or lose,
Yep.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Ah, that's amazing. Well, guys, Please do follow Daryl at Daryl Cota, Cota. You'll see his Instagram down there too. Follow him on Instagram and follow Up Next Fighting as well for the latest updates on our rising stars like Double Barrel Daryl right here. And follow me as well at Ringside Rain. And guys, don't miss Double Barrel Daryl Westphal versus Stephan the Jellyfish Kilim in a Rising Stars Bantamweight bout at UNF 27 live from the Warner Center Marriott in Woodland Hills, California on August 30th. Tickets are still available. Please get them. And when you get them from our website, upnextfighting.com, please select Daryl's name. Right.
Thank you guys.
That's
Appreciate
it.
it. Thank you, Raine. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Daryl. I will see you at weigh-ins.
I'll
And then
see you
after
soon.
that,
Thank you.
go get your Raising Canes.
Will do.
Extra.
Let me know what you want. I'll bring you some.
There you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks, Daryl. He is
See you,
Daryl Westphal. I am Raine Cruz. This is the Rain Check, and we are checking out. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.